Were y'all the only like metal hardcore band playing?
Yeah, we were the only actual band.
Yeah.
It was literally
Oh,
the choir and then us and then the girl like throwing fire and
Yeah.
oh,
stuff.
that's it.
Yeah, and then there was a tap dance troupe
Shut
after.
the fuck up.
Yeah.
Welcome to the 148th episode of the Cast That Ends Creation. I'm your host, Chris Deering. This is the show where I interview bands and public figures from the Mathcore and Mathcore adjacent communities. If you enjoy this content, please like, subscribe, do all the things social. Every little bit helps. And feel free to join us every Sunday and Wednesday for the live cast where you can interact with the guests in real time through the chat. You can also just hang out in the chat. You can subscribe to this Twitch channel for just $5, get access to the interviews before they hit YouTube and other streaming platforms, as well as get some exclusive emotes. You can also do that for free by attaching an Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. It's like taking $5 from Jeff Bezos' pocket and putting it into mine. With that out of the way, let me introduce our guest today who dropped their sophomore album, Cancer Withdrawal, last Friday through Dark Chill Records. Welcome in Mothman. How's it going, guys?
Good, how are you?
It's going good.
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for coming. Why don't you tell us who you are, what you do in the band?
Yeah, so my name's Nathan. I play bass and do vocals in Mothman.
My name is Chris. I play guitar and also do vocals in Mothman.
Ready. So I guess Mothman is just your favorite cryptid, or what? Why did y'all name yourselves that?
Yeah, so we share we share a common trauma bond, having seen the Mothman prophecies when we were younger.
And I do not know what that is. What's that?
It's a classic film with Richard Gere where he's investigating the Mothman, the happenings in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. And so when we were talking about a band and what to call it, we had a few names. We were close to trying our luck with just not having a name, just being an unnamed band. But yeah,
Okay.
But we
How would that
figured,
even work? Like you just have like a symbol for like the band or something?
No,
Like,
no symbol, no
No.
nothing. Yeah, we didn't think too far into it. Like, how do we even like get on a flyer? Or
Yeah.
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
Like, it makes no sense.
yeah, or pitch ourselves to a promoter. So that was, I guess, yeah. So we didn't do that. We tossed around some others, but then I came up with Mothman, and I told Chris, like, hey, I don't know if you've seen this movie, but it's real creepy, blah, blah, blah. And he cut me off and he said, yes. After I saw that movie, I had trouble sleeping. I said, I had trouble sleeping. And so, we just talked about not being able to sleep as young kids and chose to name our band Mothman.
Okay.
But we do like, I'm sorry, we do like the appeal of Mothman and the lore behind it. Particularly, when you see Mothman, you're struck with just immense fear and panic, but you're unable to look away. And we think that's kind of a cool idea for a band, especially a band like ours that's very loud and abrasive, being kind of trapped in a room with us or unable to leave. We want to emote that in our
I
show.
really like that. That's a cool angle on it. It's better than just being like, yeah, Mothman's just cool. Like I really like how you gave that some thought. Isn't Jeepers Creepers also Mothman? That's the one that I remember.
Well, I guess he does have wings.
No, he's a scarecrow.
Is he?
I
Okay.
think it's a scarecrow creature type thing. Or maybe there's just a scene where he's dressed as a scarecrow. But
Yeah, and he has to eat other people's body parts to then have them himself.
yeah.
Okay. It's been a long time since I've seen these. I remember that
really-
one flies, so I wasn't completely sure.
Right.
It's right around the same era that Mothman came out, like those two movie franchises came out right around the same time. So
Yeah.
makes sense.
We got Hardcore Febreze in chat. It says Mothman and Woo Mothman, so we got a couple fans in here. So you dropped your debut EP, 99 Will Die, on January 1st, 2013.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago. I didn't realize you guys have been active for that long. Like, you're coming on your 9th year?
Yeah. Not many people realize that. And it's definitely very much a side project for us. We're in a few other bands, even Andy. So Mothman has always been kind of the lower tier when those bands weren't as active or had stuff going on. Then we'd work on Mothman stuff. And it's been a while. It's been 9 years.
Yeah.
So is it still a side project?
It's a little more on the forefront now. We've had bands fall off, and I think just everyone is a little more understanding of being able to devote time to other projects too now. So Also, I think a big thing that's helped is we have our own like studio equipment and setup, so it's easier for us to really do our own music and take our time rather than having to schedule with someone else.
Right. So I assume you guys got together in 2012 then?
Yeah, I think we
to
played
make
our
the
first
release?
show in 2012.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
2012. Yeah, so
How
about
old
10
were
years.
y'all back then?
22.
30,
Nice.
32 or 22 as well.
Yeah.
23.
We've been playing music together since
high school.
since we were
other
about
bands.
15.
Damn.
15 or 16, I think.
Along with our drummer Andrew as well. We all started jamming back then, and went through a few bands, and then kind of found this one and kind of stuck with it. Like I said, kind of as like all right, when we have time, let's really knock this out of the park with this band. But we only can find time every now and then. So especially, and like with the pandemic and everything, that literally we were supposed to release this record probably 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, but that just that kind of took everything back about a year or two on the release. So.
Well, I was gonna say, for a while there, you were doing something every 2 years. You went through a split, a full length, and then there was a 6-year gap between the last full length and this one. So, what happened? Why did it take so long? Like aside from the pandemic, because that was in 2016.
Right.
Was your full length release? Your debut.
Yeah. So we
that full length record. That last one we did was a 20 song record that we recorded all ourselves and everything, and so. We kind of wrote that as like, you should have time. We knew we weren't going to release another record probably within a year or two after that one. We were going to let it sit on that one.
Okay.
But then right around that time, right as we started recording is when, 2019, right towards the end of it is when the pandemic and everything started happening. So that slowed us a little bit, but it was such a big project there that we kind of felt comfortable letting it breathe for a couple of years, especially as other bands started to take off and do their things for a year or two as well.
I was gonna say we were also in other bands that were trying to really push those.
Right. This is like definitely a side project back then, I imagine.
Yeah.
Right.
Chris and I were touring like on a hard tour cycle. That was the first time we were on the road like all summer,
right,
with another band, and then Andy's other band started picking up steam. So it was still very much a side project. And then also, if we would have had it out 2 years earlier, if everything didn't shut down. So,
well, shit, man, 20 songs is a lot of songs. Like when I saw that, I was like, Jesus Christ, this is a lot. Even for a grind band, usually it's like maybe 15 tops, but going the extra mile, I appreciate.
Well, like I said, like we were talking about before we started here, that one of the songs on that record is literally like 25 seconds long. So
one filler.
Yeah, so pretty quick to throw 20 in there.
So now you're back with your sophomore album, Cancer Withdrawal. I'm trying to wrap my head around your album's name. Like, Cancer Withdrawal means that you're like cancer free, but you're getting sick because you're addicted to cancer. So can you explain like why you named it Cancer Withdrawal?
Yeah, absolutely. So Skiles and I kind of hit this moment in our careers as musicians, along with the other guys in our bands, where you start to realize how music is going to be a part of your life forever in some way, and you start coming to terms with that and how you can do it, how hard you can push it, how hard you can push yourselves while still trying to do other things like get better jobs. I mean, Skiles and I are both engaged now. Billy, who was in our band, he got married during this time. So it's a real struggle to do something that we really love doing, almost more than anything, but then having to put it on the back burner here and there, or pushing yourself super hard towards it, and giving it a lot of your time and effort and money, and having it just not go somewhere. And especially when you really believe in the product and believe in yourself and your capabilities as musicians. So we kind of hit this point where it was like, damn, this sucks. But at the same time, we can't help but have fun. Like you just start working on a new song. We start working on the new Mothman record. We're still on the road with our best friends. We're seeing friends. We're playing shows to the 10 kids who show up in other towns. And that's, as worth it as it is, it's just totally detrimental. So the idea of cancer withdrawal, I mean, you pretty much said it. It's this like yearning for something that is ultimately negative. and because we don't really know how to function without it.
Damn, that's tight, man. You're giving really nice, thoughtful answers to these questions. I really appreciate it.
We could package this up and sell it like a TED talk or something.
So how has your music evolved since your last full length, Answers to No One?
I'd say that was definitely more chaotic and like I said, shorter songs, more quick grind kind of songs that were like in the 1 minute range. And we definitely took a step forward with the actual songwriting on this newest record. Most of the songs are about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, and that still sounds short compared to relative songs, but we can actually pack in a pretty good written song in just 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes with just 2 reoccurring parts or whatever you may need. There's ways to package a 2-minute song to really feel like you can feel proud about a good well-written song in that way,
Right, you got more song structure and stuff going.
Right, exactly.
So I would say you guys sound a lot like the MySpace era grind, especially like a red chord influence. I'm sure you get that
great.
a lot. And I just lost what the band I was gonna say was Diesel Trucks, or what the fuck was it? Judas Ghost and Diesel Eaters. Who's Ed Gein? Sound a lot like Ed Gein in the red chord. What other influences do you package in here?
Yeah, so a lot of that for sure, that kind of moment in time, if you will, where songs were super weird and crazy and heavy, and it was all and everyone was really into it.
Yeah.
I mean, other influences were huge. Every Time I Die fans, kind of the older, that era of metalcore. Every Time I Die, The Bled, Between the Buried and Me, we'll listen to, we can go back to records and reference like single songs off records for certain parts that we're working on with Mothman. We just kind of have this encyclopedic recall of just random songs, and we know exactly what they are, exactly what the other person's talking about, and that kind of moment and that feeling that band was able to capture with certain parts. So it's a lot of the stuff we listened to, I think, in our formative years when we were just starting to play music together. And I don't know, it's like a bit of nostalgia with a bit of just kind of, I don't know, homage and idolization, and just trying to really keep those older kind of feelings, that older genre alive in our sound.
I feel like that era, that MySpace grind, is like kind of like the funnest to listen to version of like extreme music. It's just so out there and random, especially bands like See You Next Tuesday and going back to Tony Danza, like especially the first 2 records and stuff like that. Just kind of random wild grind riffs thrown out of, coming out of left field type thing, and just being able to recreate that, with modern technology like 15 years later, it's super fun to do.
Well, hell yeah. I would say you guys knocked it out of the park with this one. Like, I was looking at the album cover, and I was thinking, oh, it's probably going to be some kind of straight up power violence kind of band or whatever. And then I started listening to them, like, what the fuck? It's definitely not what's going on here. Y'all are definitely more interesting than just like, straightforward like power violence band or whatever. So yeah, honestly, this right now, this is cracking my top 10 for album of the year. Yeah, fantastic.
Awesome.
Y'all did really good with this.
Thanks,
Thank you.
man.
Hey, Guy couldn't tell you. He's saying album of the year 2022 also in the comments.
He is.
Shout out.
So how does the writing process work with you guys?
It's so funny to explain.
It's a weird one.
So the earlier stuff, we lived together for like 6 months. We had this crossing of I guess places we were living, and then I was able to like go in Chris's room and play his guitar while he was in there, and that's how we would write the earlier stuff. But the newer stuff, I mean, I guess it's pretty much been the same for the last couple. But Skiles and I will primarily write the songs, and it's sometimes it starts with a riff, sometimes it starts with a full song. It's kind of up in the air, but we'll usually get everything down and then send it to Andy, and we send it to him We usually give him a Pro Tools session with some fake drums we've programmed, or just maybe a few parts that we have drum ideas for. And then we send him guitar stems and clicks, and he just listens to that. And we kind of, even on Cancer, we sent him videos of me air drumming to some parts to give him some ideas. We also gave him a voiceover track that he could turn on and off and hear like kind of mouth drumming.
Be like, yeah, D beat here, blast beat here.
Yeah.
Here comes the 2-step, 3, 4 now.
2-step. Yeah. And
That's so awesome.
And then he'll go in his garage and show up with all the drum parts, and they're usually spot on. So
I've heard of people like making noises with their mouth to like mimic a guitar. Like I do that too. I have like memos on my phone of me doing that. But I've never heard of people like doing that for like drums and it coming out accurate. So you're saying that he hits it the right way? That's fucking crazy to me. That translates so well. So that's hilarious.
Well, we got the mouth guitar demos for sure, because I can hardly play guitar, so it's usually I'm sending those to Chris or showing him, and he's able to recreate them. But yeah, I don't know how Andy did it. I think it's just a testament to him as a musician. He's incredible. He plays really good guitar too. So, yeah. And I think just kind of our chemistry of writing together, Andy knows what we expect, and then he's able to really just churn it out, really par or usually above par. There's some stuff he showed up to the studio and started putting down drums on Cancer Withdrawal that Skiles and I just kind of threw our hands up and looked at each other and like, okay, it's
I think we might have Andy in chat. Actually, it's your boy Andy. Says it's a great baseline for inspiration. And thanks, man.
Andy would not be here, but join the chat.
Yeah, that's true. I think he's playing gigs on the road somewhere tonight.
No, he's with his family.
Oh.
Yeah, family day today.
Family day?
Yeah.
Family day. All right.
So, your lyrics sound really angry, and I absolutely love that. Here's a line from Showed Up Late that I really liked. Patched in by a maker with the snakes. Shit worked, riddled with mistakes. Clocked out early, showed up late. Log my complaint, ID test. I really like that. It's like partially rhymey, and then at the end of it, it just like gets rid of the rhyme altogether. But the way that the wordplay is just really excellent, I think, in here. What would you say is the main idea for your lyrics?
Oh man, so yeah, to keep with that idea that we explained for the title, just a lot of these songs are about being a musician. And for so long, especially together, like there's some specific references in the lyrics that, reference our band and kind of things we've been going through and things we've gone through together. And so that's kind of the main theme for this. There's, sometimes I'm really angry about how hard it is. Sometimes we're we find the little glimpses of joy, and then sometimes we're kind of angry at someone else, our peers who are getting more recognition, or we feel just as good and deserve recognition, and maybe they're not getting it, just kind of being an angry and immature musician, but also coming to terms with it and finding a way to, just live with it and move on and just continue to do what you love to do, which is play music and write riffs.
That's interesting, man. I've never heard of somebody approach a concept like that before, where it's talking about being a musician up on the road. And you wrote, like, how many songs is it? What was it? I don't want to say the wrong number. How many songs was the album?
Yeah, no, this new one's 12.
12 songs, yeah. So you wrote 12 songs about being a musician out on the road. Like, I can think of maybe like 3 ideas that I could get out of it. Yeah. So, like, what are some of like the concepts that you're talking about?
Well, I will say, so not all 12 of them are about that. If it's not about that, it's probably religion or politics. It doesn't get...
I thought there was some politics stuff going on in there. So I was a little confused. I was like, how does that relate to being in a band? But okay.
Yeah. Well, but to answer your question, so you take the song Showed Up Late. That's about, is about kind of a dead end job type situation, but your job being, instead of going to work, you're going to practice, or feeling like
playing a local dive gig that no one's going to show up to on a Wednesday night and just doing it because that's what you do type thing.
Yeah. and just being pissed off about your job the way you would a dead end job or a job at a restaurant or something, but you're going to practice or playing music or writing a song or something.
Well, I really like the lyrics overall. I thought that y'all did a really good job with them. Do y'all share the burden with that, or does one of y'all do them all?
It's mainly Nate, but I'll throw like ideas and concepts out at him. He's definitely a better writer than I am. And so I'll throw, half-ass written ideas and thoughts or half-written songs and throw it his way, and he definitely polishes it up and makes it better. And then together, since we record everything ourselves, we really kind of put the placement and the cadence and the melodies of where the vocals fall in line with these, intricate kind of off-time parts, because that's kind of the harder part, is making a cool vocal line happen over like a really weird time signature while you're also keeping in mind that you have to be able to play your guitar on top of doing this vocal in this weird time signature.
Right. I think you said on your Bandcamp that y'all have written more riffs than most bands, like on his album, than most bands have in their careers. Is that what it says on there?
Yeah. Well, that's a direct quote from a review of the record.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, they say there are more riff ideas on this 25-minute record than most bands have in their career. And that's not our words. So
That's so sick.
I had to represent. Shout out to the Heaviest. I don't mean to cross promote podcasts.
No. The Heaviest is great. I love those guys.
Heaviest podcast. Yeah.
Guy couldn't tell you in chat says, any chance you can elaborate on the voicemail?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah, Corey.
So that song, is Preserving Manic Rapture. It's about track 4 on Cancer Withdrawal. That voicemail I've actually had saved. It's from our buddy Corey, who we grew up playing music with. He lived just outside of Austin, and we would go play in Burnett with him, and his band would come into Austin and play with ours back in high school. And that's a voicemail he left me when, extremely long story short, he was at the end of his rope, and he was going through some mental health stuff. He got into some legal issues, and he was actually on the run from the law in a different state. And the only way he was going to be able to contact any of us was through his buddy, Abe, who played music with him, who we both know. And so that's what he says in the voicemail: let Abe know when you're in the state, because we were about to tour to where Corey was hiding out. So we were going to link up on tour. And so he called me when he made it. And I think you can just hear in the voicemail just how desperate and dire and just exhausting the situation was. And I've just kept that voicemail just to kind of keep me grounded in certain situations. Corey's also been the number one fan of all of our projects since high school. So he's a real dear friend to us, and happy to report he's definitely on track with his mental health and sobriety issues. He's actually getting married here soon.
Yeah, that's right.
And he's able to come out to shows and see us now in a capacity where he's not in a manic episode. And so he actually helped me write part of that song, where I, had a conversation with him, asked him about what he was going through in certain times, because there'd be times he would show up out of nowhere to shows or parties, and you could hardly recognize him, just the way he looked, the way he was acting. But the one thing that's always kind of kept him together and kept us friends was our music, and especially Mothman. So just asking him about those situations, getting ideas to write these lyrics, sending him the lyrics, him kind of changing them, sending them back, a lot of that. And then, I think that voicemail just kind of had to live on that track, or in that track somewhere. And I think just at the beginning of it is just the best way to put it. And then it gets right into the song. So
yeah, it looks like Andrew just mentioned, our drummer, in the comments, that he actually does a guest vocal in that song.
I just want to mention.
I don't know the timestamp at the top of my head, but
just the super high, death high vocals.
Yes, yeah,
that's Corey, and that's actually like more trivia. I could go on. We can do the rest of the podcast about this song, the little bits of information in that song, but those lyrics are old lyrics that he wrote for his band, that I kind of repurposed into ours. So it's kind of from his perspective, adding Corey's perspective to the narrative of those lyrics. So it was really cool to have him come over and do that part, and he nailed it. And every once in a while, when we do it live, sometimes he'll hop up there and do them if he's in the crowd.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Guy couldn't tell you, says, thanks so much for sharing. Love that you included that. And Hardcore Febreze, hey, what a bro. Glad he's doing better now. That is awesome, by the way, that y'all were able to
yeah, he's a good dude.
Get him in that. So you guys recorded and engineered it over at Overstayer Studios. I like the name of this. It's awesome. And you got a mix and mastered by Kieran Krebs at Overcast Recordings. I'm not familiar with them. Should I know them from some other projects or?
No, he's just a local guy. He runs a studio down here called the Black Room. And I think he's kind of transitioned over to mainly post-production now. Yeah. But he's worked with our drummer Andy on a few other projects, and then there's another local band here he did a few songs for called Coning Sore, and they just sounded great. And so Andy kind of put us onto him when we were looking around to do mix and master for the record, and he was, right price point. His test mixes were great, and so we decided to go with Kieran.
Andy says it's not the Black Room, it's Overcast Recordings. Says that he's worked with him a lot. Good dude, good quality work.
Yeah, my bad, whoever the Black Room is. Oh, you even said Overcast. Now I feel like an asshole.
Yeah.
It's all good.
It's all good. He said Overstayer, which is our studio. That's where it was recorded, yeah.
Shout out to Kieran, wherever Kieran is.
Kieran, bro, yeah. He's doing his thing, man.
We got the artwork up on stream now. Who did the artwork?
Yeah, our buddy Sasha, he plays drums in a band called Melovich from Georgia. We set up a show for them, years ago, and we just stayed in touch. And he does art for his bands and other bands. So I just reached out to him. We wanted to do it in kind of the same style that we did Answers to No One, that kind of illustrated black and white with some pops of red here and there. So gave him the idea, showed him the old art, and I think his response was, "This is great. I'm actually really good at drawing swords." And then he sent me another drawing he had just did of some swords, and I was like, "Well, we're gonna do a few swords on the cover, so this should work out."
What's with the eyes under the bed? You got monsters under the bed? Like you're supposed to do a sweep every night. Did this person not do the sweep?
No, so that's kind of an homage to the last record.
Yeah, it's kind of like the running theme that we like to keep. In classically in the movie, the Mothman has these two red eyes that you come and see, and that's when he kind of gets you type thing. And so we kind of wanted to incorporate those in most of the albums that we do somehow or another.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in the last record, they were up in the sky, a little more ominous, a little more
looking down on you type shit.
Yeah, a little more opaque. But yeah, these are kind of more cartoonish, like definitely eyes. So yeah, it's under the bed.
Okay. Is there any reason why they're in bed or?
Yeah. So the cover is actually the tarot, a take on the tarot card for anxiety, and that was again into the being a musician, a lot of the themes of the record. So I think the tarot card is someone's sitting up in bed with the knives on the wall, but being a metal band, we wanted to make it a little more brutal and have that person being stabbed by knives instead, or swords. Excuse me.
Very important that there's swords.
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys also did a music video for "Don't Ever Let Me Catch You." That is very loud. Hold on, there we go. Okay. We got to play. You won't be able to hear it, but we got to play it up on stream. What's with the title "Don't Ever Let Me Catch You"? I heard that. I'm like, are they like a death metal band? Before I listen to it, it's just like, what?
Yeah. No, I love it. So that song's about a time Skiles and Andy and I went on our first tour, and we played. We ended up opening a fest that Mammoth Grinder was playing, and so our tour package played just these high school metalcore bands. We were like other bands with like Die Young, Lion Wait, like heavy, like legendary Texas hardcore bands. And our band opened for some reason. And so after we played Mammoth Grinder was the first band to play after our package, and Chris Olsh said in the microphone, hey, we're gonna take a break from all that metalcore bullshit and play some real music. And I remember watching that and being excited to see these bands and just thinking, damn, we gotta immediately step up our game. And so, that song's about having that kind of humiliation and being humbled, but also having the drive to want to be a better musician. And that's like a pivotal moment for me in my career, at least. And the last lyrics of the song are, "Don't ever let me catch you forgetting." Like I feel like a lot of musicians were around, even if they either haven't been humbled or if they have been, they don't acknowledge it. And I take offense to that. And so that song's kind of like a threat. Like you can be good, you can have your fame and notoriety, but I think it's important to not forget those times where you weren't big and you had no riffs and you were in a shitty metalcore band in high school, and the bands that were good let you know that you weren't good. And I think that's important. So I wrote a song about it.
Dude, I love the deep, like how deep you are with like the meanings of things. Like that's so great. Like, oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, no, I told you we can do a half hour on every song. How about this? Here's a pitch. 30 minutes on every song. We make it a series.
There you go. Where were we?
No.
Oh, so what's next for you guys? You got any plans coming up? Any shows coming up? Anything like that?
So we're actually gonna do a release show here in town, June 30th. It's gonna be at Mohawk with Purifier, Life Raft, and Black Mercy. I think we're gonna announce that early this week, either tomorrow or Tuesday. But other than that, we got a one or two other shows booked. I think we're working on a Dallas show, and then we got another one in Austin in October. But we got merch coming. Just trying to get ready for this album cycle to play shows and promote the record. Probably not a tour anytime soon. I'm getting married in a couple months. Chris is getting married a few months after that.
Congrats to you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So we got to be home to plan weddings and have weddings. So
and pay for them
and go to work to pay for them. So.
And he says he's single. So if any ladies are looking, Andy's single.
Yeah. So So if you want to put us even more behind, start a relationship. Just continue to push the record, move some units, just get the word out, because the record's really good. And I think if people just hear it, I think they'll get hooked, and we'll be able to play shows a little further away.
Oh yeah. When are y'all gonna be getting shirts and stuff in?
The order's in, so soon. We'll probably keep them offline until after the first couple shows we have them, and then hopefully set up something online where people can get them.
Okay.
But yeah, we got hats coming. Hats are looking cool.
Patches.
Stickers.
So what's the best show you guys have played?
We talked.
So a few years ago, 2017 or so, Every Time I Die, which is like Nate and I's favorite band, played 2 nights in a row at like our local like hardcore small dive club right downtown Austin, and we got to play like the after show, like right after when they got done. Everyone walked into the bar and we're like playing the inside stage, and
okay.
It was a packed house that night. It was like at our club that we play to a lot, and to be able to see it like fully packed right after like moshing to our own favorite band like just an hour before.
Did people stay, or did they all just like kind of?
Yeah, and that was the cool thing about that whole vibe is like it was like they were kind of camping out there, like the whole band was. Everyone was just hanging out in the bar and stuff. It was a good vibe those 2 days for sure.
That's awesome. That's really.
Yeah.
It was also a good show. Like we performed well as well.
Oh yeah, we killed it.
Which is always nice.
What about the worst show?
Worst show.
Worst show was so we picked one from a from a different band, but it's still me, Andy, and Chris. We played a local neighborhood get down called Good Times Fest. And
Get Down. Okay, I haven't heard that one before.
It was at the it was in the parking lot of the restaurant I worked at the time. And
Dude, that actually sounds sick.
They were looking for some entertainment, and I said, well, I play in a band. It'll be me and my friends. And so it's also right next to an elementary school. So the openers, do you remember this?
Yeah, so this is like middle of the afternoon on a Saturday, like 2:00.
Yeah.
Family friendly event, right? Yeah. And our opening act, there's no stage, it's just we're playing on the cement. And the opening act was a second grade choir.
An orchestra.
Like, orchestra.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah.
From
And
an elementary school. And they just butchered the theme song to Star Wars.
yeah. And then we were like tuning our like half stacks and our full drum kit and everything. And then we started playing, and the parents were
confused.
The kids were confused. We had like our one main homie, Rafe.
Rafe came out, was moshing hard.
It was a hard moshing just by himself there. It was awesome.
There was a girl that I worked with who did fire spinning. So she was like using our music to spin fire
Dude,
shit.
what the fuck? That's crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts. And then it got shut down by the cops because we were too loud. And but there was this point where the cops showed up and said, hey, turn it down. And so that to us just said, well, we'll continue to play. And then, even at the lower volume, the cops were like, hey, this really isn't going to work. So we had to call it. We got the fest shut down.
Yeah.
All the kids are screaming and crying and shit.
It was great because I have this vivid memory of the owner of the restaurant at the back of the parking lot just laughing, just thinking like, why is this happening in my restaurant? This is insane. It was great. Good
so
times.
Why did you have the kids orchestra or whatever play like at all?
Well, we didn't book the show.
Yeah,
I thought that you said you put it together.
No, his restaurants, like the cove of a couple restaurants that work together, were throwing this big family friendly event. Nathan, who just worked there in college, was just like, hey, I play in a band. And it wasn't like they thought it was like a band that would be fitting for that.
Yeah. And
didn't realize that the time we were in, it was like a metalcore, easycore band or whatever. And we were just jumping around and
wrecking. We're putting on. We're
wrecking real hard.
Listen. I'll play a gig. I'll play anything. So I saw an opportunity. I jumped on it. I also have a vivid memory of showing up and Billy, the other guy in our band, walking up to me and looking at the festival, and he said, man, I'm not even going to say anything to you about this, Nate. And just went and started setting it up. It wasn't the right setting. Okay. In hindsight, we now know it wasn't the right setting. But at the time,
were y'all the only like metal hardcore band playing?
Yeah, we were the only actual band.
Yeah.
It was literally
the
choir, and then us, and then the girl like throwing fire and stuff.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, and then there was a tap dance troupe.
Shut the fuck up.
And I think we shut them down. They couldn't play.
Well, I think they allowed them to play because it's not as loud. Yeah.
Okay.
But we got
what the fuck? You're kidding. You're lying. Like, there's no shot this is real.
Yeah, no, there's pictures. We'll send them to you.
Good Times Fest 2012. Chris's dad.
My dad came out. It was so embarrassing.
Yeah.
Is there video of this?
So did Uncle Danny.
My uncle came out. I'm pretty sure someone has.
I think I have a CD of pictures.
Okay.
Like my mom's friend or my mom.
Dude, I wish there was video of that. That sounds amazing. Oh my god. So were the tap dancing guys like tap dancing to your music or what?
No, they were the act that like was to follow us.
Yeah.
Oh, the headliners. The headliners.
Yeah, so we were sandwiched between the second grade orchestra and the tap dancing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
In the middle of the day.
Dude, that is the best like show story I think I've heard so far. Like, holy shit, that's amazing.
Yeah, we got a lot. Again, I got another podcast idea. It's just show stories.
Show stories.
Yeah.
We ripped the gig.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, hey, if you have other show stories, feel free, man. Like, floor is yours.
It's a can of worms that never ends.
Yeah, how long do we got?
Okay, if you want,
I'm trying to think of a short one to appease our audience.
The time
We can talk about the Battle of the Bands.
what Battle of the Bands?
The Chicken Peaks.
Oh yeah, that's a good one where we lost.
Yeah, so we were on. All right, I'll make it quick. We were on tour. We had a different drummer, so Andy's not a part of this.
Oh, damn.
Sucks for him. But we had a show fall through. We were in Jersey, and through a friend of a friend, they knew of a Battle of the Bands going down, and they said I told them y'all were on tour. Said like they just want to play, whatever. And we're like, fuck it, we'll play a Battle of the Bands. So we show up to this Battle of the Bands, and it's at like a family restaurant. I don't know what it is. We keep gigging at restaurants. And it was at a place called Chicky and Pete's, which is like a chain, like a Joe's Crab Shack, like a seafood restaurant.
Up in the Northeast, yeah.
And they had the gazebo set up outside, and we were ripping this Battle of the Bands, and it was legit like kid bands.
Yeah.
It was like two kid bands that were just the same kids rearranged on instruments. And then us, and then a band of adults who covered Forgot About Dre.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Not familiar with that song.
It's just a big rap hit. It's a rap. They
Forgot
covered a rap song.
Forgot About Dre by Dr. Dre and Eminem. Yeah. They like played a rap song for some reason. They were like a full like rockin' band. It was very strange.
Yeah. And so we showed up, played our hearts out, and we didn't win. We did.
We really tried to win this Battle of Bands. We tried hard. We were like on tour all the way from Texas, Jersey, or wherever.
Can't even win a Battle of the Bands. So we were clearly
grown men out here touring, and we could not beat the little high school band that covered.
So the kids beat you then.
Kids won. Eucalyptian was the band name.
Eucalyptian.
And they did like Rage Against the Machine covers and shit. It was kind of tight.
Oh, that does sound sick, actually.
But we lost. But Chris was under the impression that we were legit competing. And so when the announcement came, Chris was dumbfounded that we didn't.
I just didn't understand what was possible. We ripped that gig real hard.
I guess people just don't like screaming bands or whatever, with the parents or whatever of the kids, and like the screaming.
Right. Yeah, it was a bunch of parents.
There were some parents.
So you've got CDs and vinyl available over at Mothman Texas or mothmantx.bandcamp.com. What's your let's close this with your album of the year, either for last year or up to this point this year, whichever.
Mine for 2022 so far is probably that new Comeback Kid record, Heavy Steps.
I haven't listened to. I haven't listened to Comeback Kid in forever, man. I need to check that out.
Dude, yeah, their last 3 or 4 records are just really good. They're one of the only bands that's like going opposite. Their records just keep getting better as their career gets longer and longer. So we just played in Nate and I's other band. We just played with them like last week at a local club here.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
They're killing it still. That new record's awesome. It's my favorite so far.
Yeah, that's a favorite of mine. We're huge Comeback Kid fans at the Mothman camp. My favorite record this year is probably Profound Morality by Harriet.
That shit's dope.
Yeah, they're from the UK. It's like just a perfect blend of like big droney loud stuff with the right amount of noise and like clean vocals. It's just a really fun and interesting album to listen to, and I think it's really good. It's been one of the albums this year that's really jumped out.
Oh yeah, I had their drummer on here like 2 weeks ago, I think.
Cool.
They're awesome. It's such a great EP. Like holy shit.
Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
Anything else you want to say before we get on out of here?
What's your favorite record this year so far?
It's I'm not gonna mess this up again this time. It's Cancer Withdrawal by Mothman.
Oh man,
we really weren't going for the cheesy plug, yeah.
I'm super curious, but hey, if we're number one, we're number one.
I'll take it.
There you go. So if you're looking for some tasty, heavy riffs, you got to check out Cancer Withdrawals, the sophomore EP from Mothman, which came out last Friday through Dark Trail Records. Y'all are on Facebook, Bandcamp, Instagram, YouTube, all streaming platforms. Am I missing anything? Any kind of social stuff?
No, that's it for social.
Yeah.
Oh, before we get out of here, shout out your other bands, because you said you're in some other projects. What are the other projects?
So Skiles and I also play bass and guitar in a punk rock and roll band in Austin called Drip Fed. We had a new album come out about a year ago and working on another one. Andy plays in a band called Nominee, pop punk band, really good, local hometown heroes here.
Yeah.
And then Skiles and I also play in a pop punk band called Thieves. Haven't done a lot with Thieves lately, but we put out a record just before the pandemic in January, before the pandemic happened. So
it's interesting. Y'all go from like pop punk and to this, like such a huge difference.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of the early Mothman riffs were like the riffs we would joke around with and play at pop punk band practice. And then it was kind of like we should catalog these into I don't know another band. So that's kind of how it started.
Alrighty. As for me, find me on Facebook or join my channel, follow so you always know when I go live. You can also sub to get access to interviews before they hit YouTube, as well as get access to some exclusive emotes. You can also sub for free by attaching Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. YouTube folks, if you enjoyed the video, please drop a like, tickle the notification bell. Don't forget to subscribe. It's a great way to support me for free. Check out my music, The Sound That Ends Creation, at thesoundthatenscreation.bandcamp.com. My album, Boomers, Zoomers, Desperate Coomers, is out now. My next guest is Italian-based post-hardcore act. There's no way I'm saying this correctly, but I think it's I Maiali. I think that's what it is. I Maiali, who dropped their sophomore album, Senior last Friday. Join us this Wednesday the 8th at 12 p.m. Central for the live cast. Thanks for being here, y'all. Hope you had a good time.
Yeah, we did, man. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Absolutely, and thank you guys for watching and listening.